And what are you guys for Halloween? What are you?
Batman.
Martin Gill and his partner have been foster parents to two young brothers since December of 2004. They live in Miami, along with Martin's partner's biological son, who's a teenager. Martin and his partner were originally told that the placement of the children would be temporary, just up to a couple of months, because there were relatives who had expressed an interest in adopting the children. At that time, the boys were 4 and 4 months old.
From the moment they walked in, boy, they were a neglect case, and I could see that that was true. The 4-year-old had the whole top of his head, he looked something like me, like he had male-pattern baldness, because this whole top of his head was covered with ringworm to the point that his hair was no longer growing up there. And it was all flaky and yellow. And he just looked terrified, traumatized. And in fact, it was about 2 weeks. For 2 weeks he didn't speak at all. Today he's a very happy child. He smiles a lot. He has a lot of friends. I had a report just yesterday from his teacher that he was talking too much to other kids. And I had to tell the teacher that makes me happy, because here's a child that for the longest time wouldn't speak at all. And then when he began to speak, for the first several months he was very depressed and didn't seem to bond with anybody. And now his teacher's giving me reports that he talks too much and he's got too many friends. And that really makes me feel good.
After being in the care of Martin and his partner for over a year or so, it became clear that the boys were not going to be able to be reunified with their biological relatives, and that they were going to be free for adoption. Once that happened, the state would have an obligation to place the children in a family that could adopt them. But because of the law banning adoption by gay people in Florida, Martin and his partner would be ineligible, so they were concerned that the children would be torn away from the family they'd become so bonded to. At that point, Martin and his partner came to the ACLU asking for help.
We had a trial date coming up, and we felt it necessary to explain what adoption is, in terms that maybe a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old would understand. The older of the two, all of a sudden he had just this look of pure contentment on his face. And he said, "Poppy, we're all going to have the same name. We're going to have the same last name." And I said, "Yeah, we're going to be a permanent family, and we're all going to have the same name." He sat there and he wrote out his new name. 2 pages. He filled up at least 2 or 3 pages. For the next half hour he wrote that name, and he was smiling and he was happy. And at that point, I mean, he just got it. It's a hard concept to know what being adopted is at that age, but he got it. We were going to be a family, and having that name to bond us, the name Gill, would bond us as a family.